Hey guys, welcome to Book Review 134. Today I am going to be reviewing Exploring the Striking Contrasts of India by Columbia, Missouri resident Wayne P. Anderson. Alright, so Wayne P. Anderson is a university psychologist that does kind of like a little side business or writes travel columns for the local newspaper. And occasionally he'll write a little longer pieces like this. This is not a particularly long volume, but it is about an 80-page book. Anyway, in the spring of 1980 or 1981, I believe, he traveled around India in a train car known as a boogie. And essentially what it was a train car that connected to either as a caboose or somewhere connecting to another train with, I think it was about 15 or 20 other people. And they lived in this car and traveled all around India. Really kind of, if you think about it, a pretty fascinating way to see India. Just because of the on the ground nature of literally and figuratively of seeing India. It wasn't really a high end package deal, although in a way it was a package deal in the sense that all these different sites were together. But it wasn't sort of sterilized. It wasn't really sort of you know, only show the brighter side of India, only show kind of what, the people within various tourist industries want to see. He really, though he did see that too, but he saw a lot of the poverty of India. He often talks about the beggars and how really overwhelming they are. And he actually had sort of a list of severity of the type of beggars. The least severe just being people that needed money or sometimes didn't even need money but did it as a job, but had no deformities or didn't really might play on your sympathies in terms of like friendship. And then the severe scale went all the way down to those that were either blind or badly misfigured, or had like children, to really the worst one they said was when a beggar would have another beggar beg for them because they were just physically incapable of the physical action of begging and asking for money. And you would see really not a corpse, not a dead body, obviously, but it's pretty much in a completely disabled body along the side of the road with somebody helping them out to get them food and stuff. It's pretty grim. That's a good way to start this review. But he also talks a lot about the he really doesn't do a lot of sociological work or talks to people behind the scenes in terms of kind of the intricacies of how their lives work, which is a little bit disappointing, but you'd have a much larger volume if that would to be the case. What he really does is he goes around and sees various cities, everything from, let me get to the title page, everything from the Taj Mahal to Lucknow, Bombay, Madras, Uti, which I think was really interesting. Talks about the sacred cows, Agra, and the Taj Mahal. And what do I think about these various tourist sites? Check there. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to really describe. Oh yeah, he goes to Rishikesh, also known as Varanasi. Goes to Lucknow. Just trying to think of some of the specifics. Obviously they have the Burning Ghats at Lucknow. I talked about that in a previous review. and he has a lot of pictures and stuff. Here's like one of the temples. Um, Talks a little bit about the history, kind of, how the various sites came into being. Um, Here's one that I really liked, Udi. Udi is interesting in that it's a hill station, but not as famous as Lucknow. But it's in the far south of India, and was very famous as a tea plantation that has now kind of seen better days. Um, Talks about the sacred cows. A lot of it is just sort of kind of stuff that I already knew about India. And here's a classic picture. Here's something that isn't just like a tourist thing. Um, this was when he was talking about how, um, they give scraps to people, scraps of food to people that would beg after meals. There was no shame in taking the leftovers of white travelers um, after they ate their morning breakfast. Um, he definitely had sort of like a group mindset in the fact that, you know, he wasn't traveling solo, he was traveling with a lot of other people. He did mention, kind of stereotypically, but I think, to a degree true, that really there weren't a lot of Americans that did this sort of like grit and grime travel. It was mostly British and Europeans. And he said the British in particular were um, well versed in how to travel and sort of um, lesser conditions, but still have quite a sense of humor about it. Um, Same with the Australians. There's a little piece on luck now. Um, it talks about bicycle rickshaws and stuff. Some of the ghats at Varanasi. Talked a lot about the squalor, though he did say a lot of the Buddhist sites would have relatively um, cleaner areas than some of the Hindu sites. This is Marble Rocks. I don't know if you can quite see that. A famous gorge. I don't know if you can tell what type of rock that is, but it's called Marble Rocks because of the fact that the gorge is made of marble, and I think it's the only one in the world like that. Maybe there's one other one, but it's certainly not a huge gorge. It's a decent sized gorge, but it's completely inlaid with natural marble. Man obviously didn't put it there. It's naturally laid. Um, hmm, what else? I read this a bit ago. Oh yeah, he talks a lot about the cave temples. It's a classic one right there. Um, at Ajante, Agra, and the Taj Mahal. Talks some about Hinduism, or well, he talks about Hinduism, but what I was going to say is he talks some about the history of Islam on more modern India and the conflicts and that are there, but also the cultural, uh, you know, the culture. Uh, Adding, why am I not finding the right word here? The things that Muslim people added to historical Indian culture. Um, there's cows all over India. Something interesting about cows is that they almost act as like the garbage disposals in a country that's still largely, and particularly in 1980, not particularly modern. Um, and even they'll eat things that are inedible, but will to some degree break them down or just keep them in their system. I think they say that he talked to some veterinarian uh, that had a dead cow, and they opened up its stomach, and it was just filled with like plastic bags and shoes and just all sorts of inedibles. But cows will eat anything. So, I think Marble Rock. Yeah, I think we'll just go ahead and call that a day. It was a good book. I read in about a day and a half. See, there's the boogie that I'm talking about. I think that's the if I can get it. That's the train that they rode in. You know, you can see it's pretty bare bones. Yeah, so I might just leave it at that. It was a good book. Oh yeah, the Red Fort. Oh no, this is the Alfarad Sikri. I think that might be the. Oh yeah, it's a ghost town from the Mughal Empire. Okay. Well, anyway, a lot of different tourist sites, a lot of interesting stuff. Very, very quick read. Get you an idea of just what to see in India, what the very basics of travel can be, and doesn't gloss over anything. Definitely gives sort of a direct view of what India really is without necessarily going into, you know, like huge voluminous depth. Okay, Exploring the Striking Contrasts of India by Wayne P. Anderson. Keep checking out the reviews, guys. All right, bye.